We go all around the world. We go all around the world. Hey guys, welcome in to another episode of the First Base Podcast. I'm Taylor Mathis, here to chat with you guys about everything that is sports, life, fun, anything crazy in between. If you are new here, please subscribe to the podcast, give me a rating, a comment, all those fun things that you want to do with the podcast. Let's get right into it because last episode, I feel like, guys, I was really vulnerable about with you guys where I was at in life and about how my 2024 had been going. Pretty rough. Just sharing with you guys some of the stories and some of the things I've been through so far this year. And then I went on my big trip to Spain with my family that I was kind of leading up to. And I thought this episode, I would talk to you guys about my travels a little bit, about going around to the places I've been to lately because I have barely been home over the last 2 months at all. And while I absolutely love to travel, it has been great this last week to finally be back at home and be in my own element because I missed my dog and I missed my friends and I missed my own bed. But I also do love traveling, and the travels that I've been on lately were amazing. So I'm going to start with talking with you guys about my trip to Spain with my family, España. Let's just start by saying we did Barcelona and Madrid, and both cities were absolutely stunning and so beautiful and different in their own ways. Barcelona reminded me more of like a city that I could live in. I could have a little apartment, walk out onto my balcony every morning, drink a little coffee, listen to some music. I could go down to the local bars and pubs like at night. I love that like dinner is late there and everybody like pushes everything back further because I'm a night owl. So right up my alley. I was loving that. And the city of Barcelona was just very clean. It seemed very safe from what we were encountering. And a lot of people talked about that they like don't want tourists there because they don't want them to jack up their prices. And then like they're having a housing issue, which I get because we actually are having the same issue in Scottsdale. A lot of people are buying properties around here, turning them into Airbnbs. And then our housing market's also going up. So I get it. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I guess tourism's like a part of the economy. And I was looking up some of the stats, and tourism makes up a large portion of Barcelona's economy every single year. So if you got rid of tourists, guys, I don't know if that's just like the smartest idea off the bat. And I know everybody's like, stay in hotels then. I guess people could do that out here too. It's just not really an area of focus that I thought about that much. Honestly, we wanted to stay in Airbnbs because I wanted to get the experience of what it would be like to be living in a place while being there. I feel like it's a more authentic experience. Hotels just aren't the same. I'm an Airbnb girl through and through. So we went to Barcelona first. I loved it. Like I could live there, like I said. If I end up moving to Spain and living abroad at some point in my life, guys, don't be surprised because I could totally see myself doing that. We, of course, did a lot of the touristy things. The La Sagrada Familia and Park Güell. And we did all of that, which was so cool, really beautiful to see the history behind all of it. So interesting. My dad loves that kind of stuff. So we did all of that. But one of my favorite things that we did while we were on the trip was a exclusive, or I don't know how you would say it, it wasn't private, but like a small group of us went with this tour guide through the wine country of Paradis. I think that's how you say it. Correctly, they produce a large chunk of wine within the world, and we got to bike ride through the vineyards of that wine country and go to different wineries and try different wines. This is one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life, hands down. The experience was so cool. First of all, the guy who ran the tour was amazing. He was awesome, so knowledgeable. If anybody wanted the info for this, I would give you guys the info in a heartbeat because it's something that you need to do if you're going to Spain. And I feel like it's also a activity that wouldn't come up to do right off the bat if you're just like searching online. He was super knowledgeable, super amazing. The bikes were e-bikes, so you didn't have to fully pedal, which was awesome too, because it was 10 miles all the way through. But we started in the city and then moved through the vineyards, and we were just with a small group with a family of 4 and then one other couple. So it was a really small group of us. It was really fun. And the sights, beautiful. Like, it was so cool. It was just like we were in the middle of nowhere, like out on these bikes in the middle of Spain, just riding through vineyards. And I was like, I just felt so grateful and so lucky that I was able to experience something so beautiful like that. And with my family and this was kind of a trip that I put a lot of the work and planning into. So it was really fun to get to see it like all come together and my family have such a good time. The first vineyard we went to, the family had been running it within their family since the 1600s. And we got to go try all these wines within this 1,000-year-old building. The wine in Spain is like not even close to the wine in America. There's so much less additives. They said they had 80% more additives in America than they do in Spain. It just tastes so fresh, so crisp. It doesn't have like that aftertaste, that bite to it. It was amazing. And then we went to the second winery where we learned the whole process. They do everything at this one winery of bottling their wine, harvesting the grapes, everything. They pick them by hand there, and it's all natural wines. And oh my God, seeing the process of how they do every little thing. I've done tours like that in America, but it was so much different here and so much more interesting. Just because there are people that have been winemakers for thousands and thousands of years and it's been carried down from their family. So learning their process and what they do was really cool. And then getting to try all their different wines that they had it was just such a fun experience. And I kind of got double duty because my sister's pregnant. So she was not drinking. So I would get all of her second glasses. So I definitely had fun on this little bike ride. After we got through the whole way on our way back, I was like, woo, I'm feeling good riding on this bike right now. But we had so much fun. The weather was beautiful. The scenery was stunning. Oh, we had the best time ever. That was probably my favorite thing that we did on the trip, so that was great. Of course, we did the markets and stuff in Barcelona, which best fruit I've ever had in my life. Like literally the strawberries were like nothing I had ever seen. That was amazing. I loved in Madrid, our first night, we went to a traditional flamenco dance with like a dinner and stuff. That was really cool. I'm very big into the arts, so I love stuff like that. And so did my mom. My sister and my dad liked it, but I don't think it was what they expected. They were thinking salsa dancing. And I'm like, salsa dancing's not Spanish. Flamenco, actually, because my sister was like, why are their faces so serious? And it looks like they've got a lot of pain, a lot of passion on their face. The art of the flamenco dance was actually started through the impoverished areas of Spain. And it was a way for people within poverty to show their pride, show their passion, their hard work, and want to like get out of their circumstances and their situations. So that's why their faces are always so serious, so stern, and they look kind of sad. And it's very like it's kind of a little bit of like clogging tap dancing intense with some spinning and stuff. One of my favorite memories of the trip was when we were at the flamenco dance. There were 3 dancers and they each had like their solo moments. And the last guy, like you could just tell he was going to steal the show. Like he was sitting so proper. He had the look, like he had like eyeliner on, like these extravagant like earrings, this outfit. And you just knew that the show, they saved the best for last. And he was about to start. And my sister looks at me and she's like, T. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, he's about to be fire. And I was like, he is about to be fire. And she was not wrong. We were not wrong. He was fire. He was definitely the best out of the group of dancers. But that was very fun. And there we stayed in a beautiful Airbnb that overlooked like downtown Madrid. Stunning views. And that night was so fun too. We took some of our wine that we got from the winery tour because we bought bottles. And we drank up on our balcony that night and we played games. My dad, my mom, my sister, and I. So it was just a good, wholesome family night. We had so much fun, just beautiful views. I was like, God, I'm so lucky that I get to do this with my family and be here and experience another country like this and experience other people's culture. Because I love traveling for that reason alone. Like I want to feel like I authentically lived here. But the best part of the trip was probably this. Our second night in Madrid, I booked just a super, super authentic Spanish home within Madrid that was in Plaza Mayor, which if you have never heard of it, look it up. It is so gorgeous. Like things that you see in the movies. It's a plaza in the middle of Madrid and it's just like life. I don't know how to explain it. Everybody is just going about their life doing things below in this plaza, but it is like, it reminded me of like Beauty and the Beast. When Belle's like, dun, 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 dun. When she's like going around the town with her books and stuff like that and like going into shops. It's like that. Like people are getting their food for the week and shopping and having dinner and like drinking in the middle of their Sunday with their family after church. And like, it was stunning. So we're standing there and we looked like such tourists though with our gigantic suitcases in the middle of Plaza Mayor trying to figure out where our Airbnb is. And we see this guy like starting to walk towards us and he like looks at me and he's like, "Are you Taylor?" And I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "I'm Pedro." He, oh my God, was just the nicest man. He like kind of like, I don't know. He just made our trip. He just like warmed our hearts. We loved Pedro so much. He helped us. First of all, he like tells my mom that he's going to take her suitcase. My mom's suitcase was giant, you guys. He looked at her and he's like, he goes, "I've had a lot of people live with me, stay with at my place over the years. This is the biggest suitcase I've ever seen." I looked at my mom. We kept calling it yellow banana. And I feel like my mom kept forgetting that people in Spain, English is not their first language. So she would, of course, try to like joke with our taxi drivers and stuff. She's so cute. She'd be like, "Oh, here comes Big Banana," with her suitcase because it was big and yellow. "Here comes Big Banana." And like she'd start to go, "Huh," and like laugh. And the taxi drivers would literally just look at her like, "Lady, we have no idea what you're saying." My sister and I every time would just look at each other like, "Mom is such a dork," but she's so cute. She would just keep forgetting that they could not speak English. It was just like the cutest thing ever, but always Big Banana was everywhere. So we're thinking though, he's like, "I'm going to take it." It's kind of a long way up to his place. We start walking. We're thinking it's going to be like 3 flights of stairs. It was 8 flights of stairs. If you've been to Europe and you've traveled with a suitcase, you know. Traveling with a suitcase in Europe is just rough as an American with how much we overpack. And we had to carry these suitcases up these 8 flights of wooden stairs to get up to Pedro's place. And I thought, honestly, I thought me or my dad were going to have a heart attack. My mom got up there with because my sister's pregnant. So my mom took my sister's suitcase. I did my own. My dad did his and Pedro did my mom's. And oh my God, it was just like a journey to get up there. But once we finally got up there, Pedro's house was like nothing I've ever seen. It was so cool. He had so many old family artifacts and antiques of his families, of his grandparents that he had, like an old record player, his grandma's sewing machine, his grandfather's typewriter. And the house was authentically very Spanish. Every wall was a different color. His bedroom had stained glass windows in it. And the place that he lived in Plaza Mayor is actually a historical landmark now. So like nothing can be done or changed to it. The bathrooms have like original tiling from forever ago. It was such a stunning place. But Pedro, he spoke a little English, but not a lot. I took 4 years of Spanish, 4 years of Spanish. I am by no means fluent, but I can definitely like pick up and understand what people are saying if I listen very closely. So we were able to like communicate pretty well. And he sat with my family and I for probably at least an hour. And he told us about how his family, growing up in Madrid, what he did there. His family all lives in Portugal now, showed us around his whole house and like showed us pictures. He had like a whole picture wall of his family, like through the generations. Just so cool. The nicest, sweetest man ever. We just like enjoyed talking to him so much. And like, he was really telling us a lot about his culture of growing up in Madrid. And it was so funny. People in Madrid didn't really like people from Barcelona. People from Barcelona don't necessarily always love people from Madrid. And we really learned this because in Barcelona, they believe that they relate more to actually Catalonian culture. I hope I'm saying that right. Compared to Spanish culture. So they really actually want to be their own separate entity outside of the country of Spain, but they have not yet done that. So people in Barcelona like view themselves very different. The people of Madrid view themselves, they are Spain. And like Pedro was like saying that to us because we were telling him about our time in Barcelona and how he loved it. The tourists in Barcelona though were hit or miss. We would have some that were really nice and then we'd have some that were not nice. Like when we went to Park Güell, I nicely go up to this man at the park who was like one of the people at the front. And I was trying to ask him how I find where our tour guide was because it said our meeting spot was at some hotel that was nowhere near the park. And he keeps trying to tell me that it was right there. And I was trying to show him on the map. And he like looked at me and he's like, "Lady, I would know. I work here." And I was just like, oh my God. And I don't know. Like he was just not friendly to tourists. And I was just like, Okay. Like, I walked away and I was like bitter about that conversation. I was like, he pissed me off. Like, my sister started like giggling because he said that. She could tell I wasn't pissed off. And I just like looked at him and I was like, okay, whatever, because I wasn't, what am I going to say back to this guy? But like, I was freaking annoyed because I can't stand rude people. And I was just like, I'm sorry. I asked you a question. I thought that was your job and I didn't know what I was doing. Like, whatever. People in Barcelona would be like hit or miss like that. Some were nice, some were rude. Most of the ones that we met were nice though. We're not actually from Spain. A lot of them were from Argentina. A little disappointed though. Like, I was thinking I was going to meet my Spanish husband on this trip and there wasn't that many cute Spanish guys. Like, I was a little heartbroken. We met this group of brothers and they were from Argentina and they owned the bar that was below one of the Airbnbs we stayed at in Barcelona. And we kept going there to like get drinks every night. They were so nice and they were really cute. But they were from Argentina and I was obviously with my family. So they like made a little joke. They were like, are you gonna, because my sister's pregnant and I'm with my parents, but my mom and dad and my sister are also chatty people. We're Midwesterners, so we're of course chatting with all of them. And they like asked me, are you gonna like experience any of the nightlife while you're here in Barcelona? And I was like, I looked at them and I was like, I have my sister who's 7 months pregnant right next to me and my parents right next to me. So probably not this trip, but if I was here alone, yes. And my mom was like, ooh, Taylor, I thought they were going to ask you to like go hang out. And I was like, yeah, same. But I was like, Mom, my mom would have never let me go do that anyway. And granted, I would not have probably done it on my own regardless. But they were like really cute. They were about the only cute boys truly that we talked to and saw when we were in Spain. I didn't see many cute men, but it wasn't the point of the trip. It's fine. It's fine. But that was super fun. So we sat with Pedro. We talked with him for quite some time. And when he left, it was the cutest thing. He like grabbed my mom's hand and he was like, Mama, and he's like, you have a beautiful family. You have such an optimistic family. You guys have such a good energy. And my mom was like, oh my gosh, Pedro, you do too. She started tearing up. It like made her whole trip. It really like, it was so cool to have an experience with somebody who like, yes, we don't come from the same culture. We don't even speak the same language, but just our energies alone meshed so well together. And he just partially like made our Spain trip and made our portion of our Madrid trip just amazing. He was just such like a special person that we met on the trip and we just loved him. And the fact that he opened his home to us and we stayed there, it was like our favorite. We all said too, by the end, we're like, what was your favorite Airbnb you stayed at? Because we stayed in a lot of cool ones, but all of us, besides my sister, and partially because she's pregnant, she needed better air conditioning. But she was like, all of us said that Pedro's was like our favorite place that we stayed by far. His balcony led out into Plaza Mayor too, and it was just like the coolest thing ever. I was like, imagine waking up here every single morning and be like, I live here. I felt like I was entangled. And she opens the thing. She's like, 7 a.m., the usual morning lineup. That was me. I felt like I was Rapunzel when I was in Spain. So yeah, loved Pedro's. And he gave us, that was so cool too, because that day in Madrid, he gave us places to go that were not, he's like, I'm going to tell you guys to go and it's not going to be touristy stuff. So he sent us to this street filled with authentic Spanish restaurants, bars, places that he's like where the families go and hang out on Sundays and drink and have fun and see their neighborhood friends. So we went and did that and we hung out with like all these families in Madrid and everybody was so stinking nice and we had so much fun. We tried so many cool places. It was called Cava Baja was like the area we were in. Oh my God. Obsessed. It was so cool. We got to see so many really cool neighborhoods within Madrid too. I just loved it. It was amazing. Then the rest of our trip, we went back to Barcelona and we stayed on the water. We did a like sailing day on the Mediterranean, laid out in the sun. It was just a blast. One thing I will say, obviously like nude beaches are a thing in Europe and it's just like whatever, like for people to be doing what they do and like showing whatever they want really in beaches in Europe, which is fine. It's just different as an American because you're not used to seeing that. Not that you're staring, but just like you would see things. And I just got to figure this out. There was one section of the beach in Barcelona that like you could tell was kind of like a beach of like you could do whatever. Like there was a lot of fully nude people. And we were not in this area, but we were walking past it on the boardwalk. And my mom just starts like giggling. And I'm like, what? And she goes, I'm sorry. I just like, can't help but giggle. And I go, she goes, all the naked dudes. The thing though is all the people that were like butt naked on this nude beach were old men. And I swear they have some weird like fetish or like power trip or something because they all, let me just example right now. They would stand up like this. Like fully butt nude, everything out, just like wanting everybody to see. It was like they wanted the show of everybody to see them fully naked. Like they needed everybody to see them fully naked. Like it was a whole experience. And I swear it was like some weird power thing. I don't get it. It was all old men that were the butt naked ones, just like letting it all hang out. They did not care at all, but then they always had to be standing too, and they're just like standing up around the beach, like looking around. I'm like, what are you looking at? You just want everybody to look at you. It was just such a interesting experience as an American. Like, granted, do what you want, do you. It's just funny to me that it was a lot of older guys, and I need to figure out, like, why was that? Why was it always the older guys that wanted to be out there in the nude strutting their stuff? So that was fun. The trip was amazing. I cannot speak highly enough of Spain and the things we did. And if anybody has questions about anything ever, I am free to, I'll give you guys any advice you want. Every Airbnb we stayed at was amazing in Barcelona and in Madrid. So if anybody needs recommendations of anything, if you have any trip going to Spain, I am your girl. I can help you out. And I can promise you I will be back there again in my life because I loved it. I'm not sure if it's my favorite country if I've ever been to in Europe. I haven't been to a ton, but I loved Greece when I went to Greece too. So hard to choose for me because I do love Italy too, but I feel like Spain, maybe it's also because it was with my family. Like I just loved the trip so much and everything we did. And we just, I don't know, it was just such a good time. Like I truly enjoyed every minute of it. Granted, you know, family trips, they can be a lot when you're with your family all under the same roof 24/7. Like my mom, my sister, my dad, and I have not been under the same roof like that together for that long since my sister and I were living at their house. So of course we had our little family tiffs here and there, but overall we had like the best time. And I'm just so glad we were able to all experience that together. So that was great. I'm so happy that happened. Then I was like, ooh, when I get back, I'm jumping back on the horse of getting into work stuff. And I truly did. And guys, I'm just like so thankful and happy with the way things, like the tides have been turning for me lately. My content's been going crazy and I'm so thankful to all of you guys that have been supporting me with all of it. Like I didn't expect the walking bets to go as nuts as they've been going. Like they keep going viral and I'm just like, holy cow, it's leading to so many amazing opportunities for me. And I've been trying to, like, if you're new here and you're listening to the podcast and you think I just like started doing these walking bets, like not the case. I've been trying to make it within like the sports media world for years. I went to the University of Iowa to get my degree in journalism and then also in sports studies. I started in local television as a sports reporter and anchor. I made $9 an hour. I was, you know, grinding, trying to make my way. I covered every sport you could ever think of, a lot of high school sports, a lot of college athletics, covered the Huskers a bunch. And then I moved into doing digital stuff and I sideline reported for the Suns for a while out here. Then I moved into gambling and I worked for Superbook in Vegas. And then I worked for Sports Grid, which is a sports betting television network. And now I've been moving into kind of doing a lot of my own content. And I am so thankful and so grateful for all of like the feedback I'm getting. As much as there are some trolls out there and, you know, people that want to hate and say whatever they want to say, at the end of the day, more than anything else, the positives outweighs the negatives so much. And I'm really excited to see where things are going to go with stuff because some crazy opportunities have been presenting themselves. And I'm so excited that hopefully I can start sharing some of this stuff with you guys very soon. But I'm really excited. And thank you guys for the love of all the content of the walking bets and Teacher Tay and my top prop, and just everything I've been doing lately has been going so well. So it's been a great turn of events from how the beginning of my 2024 went from the last episode we talked about things. After I was in Spain, then I went to Joshua Tree too with my friends. My friend Maria turned 30, and that was a really fun weekend. I had never been to Joshua Tree. If you're looking for a good, calm getaway with some friends to chill, Joshua Tree is the place with you with beautiful views. It's desert, mountains in the middle of nowhere. We stayed in a gorgeous Airbnb that was very boho vibed. It had a little cowboy pool, so we just sat out on the deck during the day. We drank margaritas. We hung out. At night, we laid in the hammocks and we stargazed. We went line dancing. We had so much fun. It was such a chill girls' weekend. We did a wine night and made like big dinners. Oh, it was just such a good weekend with my friends. We thrifted, which is one of my favorite things. As people know, I love to thrift. So I got some really cute clothes, some cool stuff. I started this new idea of every time I travel to a new place I haven't been, I'm going to get a piece of art from there as well. So I got a really beautiful piece of art in Madrid and in Barcelona and in Joshua Tree. So I'm going to start making my wall here in my living room, different pieces of art to places that I've been. So that'll be really cool and a cute little way to like commemorate all of my travels, and make it look pretty at the same time. So that was very fun. Joshua Tree was amazing. And then I thought I would talk to you guys about BetBash because a lot of you guys follow me for the sports content. And I went to BetBash for the first time ever. If you do not know what BetBash is, it's a huge convention seminar in Vegas. I think this was the 4th annual BetBash, where people within the industry come and speak and do panels and seminars, and people that are very into betting or enjoy sports gambling or want to break into the industry come, network, listen, and watch all these panels and seminars and all this stuff. I got invited to BetBash. First year ever. I was a little nervous about going because the reputation is that it's very all male and not a lot of females go to it. But the guy Spanky who runs BetBash asked me to come and speak on a panel for women within sports betting and to moderate a panel as well. And I was very nervous about going into it just because I knew there wasn't going to be a lot of women there. And I was a little nervous that I was going to get there because the sports betting landscape, regardless of the fact that it's only been legalized in the United States for a little bit, I mean, gambling's been going on for a long time. So there are people that have been handicappers or people that have worked in the betting space for, 50 plus years. And some of those people sometimes, like, they don't like new things. They don't like change. They don't love that women are getting into the industry. They don't love that it's not the same way that they went about betting as we do now with content and social media and all these different things. So I was a little nervous about going in there and feeling like it was a good old boys club and I was not going to be welcome. But I got there on Tuesday and there was like a welcome night. And I went by myself and I was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I walked over to Circa. I was staying at the D on Fremont, and I walk over to Circa and I like walk into the bar area, and I am not kidding you, hundreds of men, and maybe 2 or 3 girls. And I was like, oh boy, I was definitely a little intimidated looking at the scene, and I was nervous, but I was like, team, I've got a big personality and I can chat. So I was like, I will be fine. You'll be fine. I walked in. I should have never been worried. People were coming up to me left and right, talking to me. I met so many people within the betting space, first of all, that I can just say are such kind, supportive, nice men within the space. But also on top of that, so many creative, intelligent minds within the sports betting space. I learned about so many different people and different companies or ideas or things that people are doing to expand within sports gambling in the country, that they have these like new ideas or new ways of how they're going to break into the space that I would never even, and I'm not going to obviously give away anything of things that I learned that are just ideas to me, that it is crazy that somebody's mind was even able to come up with something like this and how cool of an idea it was. And I was like, it's just so cool to see so many intelligent, creative people in the sports betting space all in one area and learn about all of these new things that are going to be coming about soon within the industry. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed getting to know so many people and I had so much fun. The first night, after everybody was like at the bar, everybody goes up to Legacy Club at Circa, and I'm like, oh, T, like I will be back in my hotel room way before that. I'm not going to be able like make it to Legacy Club. Like I'm going to be like way tired before that and whatever, not make it. Your girl was there till bar close. The lights came on, like the lights came on at 3 a.m. and I was there at Legacy Club, still drinking and hanging out with the boys. And I'm like, what am I doing? When the lights went on though, oh, I gotta say, I made such good like friends there. They were so sweet because I was like, we get done. It's like 3 a.m. and I'm like, I need to, probably go back to my room. So with that being said, I'm like, I probably need to go back to my room. This is a whole nother tangent I could go on. But like the epidemic going on in the United States right now of fentanyl use breaks my heart. And it's really sad. So sad and just honestly disgusting to see. Fremont Street is already an interesting area. If you've never been, you're going to see some crazy things. And that's kind of the part of it. It's people watching and all of that. To see how many people are addicted to blues and to fentanyl out on the streets and literally walking through like in a zombie apocalypse at that point in the night to get back to my hotel was so sickening and so sad. It honestly broke my heart. I cried about it the next day. It really bothers me. I've been somebody who I don't want to say I follow like the fentanyl epidemic closely, but I kind of do even out here in Arizona because we're very close to the border. The fentanyl use in Phoenix is terrible. And you will drive down certain streets in Phoenix and it is like zombies walking, everybody like hunched over. Nobody knows what they're doing. They can't talk. It's just, I don't know. Addiction is just so sad. I could go on about this topic for a really long time because it's something that I wish I tried to do my toy drive the last year surrounding around a charity that worked with kids whose parents are recovering or who are fentanyl addicts and trying to help people out here in this area with stuff that do that. But if anybody knows of any other way that I can help with stuff like that too, please contact me and let me know. It's something that it really like, I don't know, it hits home for me. And seeing that on Fremont, all in such close proximity too, of like so many people all dealing with the same issue and all within that combined area. And at 3:30 in, I was not, the boys, they were so sweet. We're like, you're not walking back down Fremont by yourself at this time of the night. So like 2 or 3 of them walked me back to the D and got me back to my hotel room, which was so nice because they were like, you are not walking alone as a woman, which was so sweet of all of them. And I just can't say enough about how nice the people were at BetBash. The fentanyl thing's totally separate topic. Jeez, I do this a lot. I go off on tangents. But yes, BetBash was amazing. And then I moderated a panel for Alan Boston, a college basketball professional handicapper, which was so fun. He was such a chatty, talkative, fun guy, and the panel went so great. That was a blast. I still hung out with all the BetBash guys throughout the rest of the time there. Then Minty, who works for the UFC and does betting stuff. Her and I are friends. We went to dinner and then she just was the sweetest little gem. She had an extra ticket to Morgan Wallen and she took me with her and we went to Morgan Wallen together and we just had the best time. So that was so fun. I love spending time with her and she is just the sweetest and so talented, so nice. Like, I wish we lived closer to each other because we would hang out all the time. So that was very fun. And then I spoke on my own panel with a few other women within sports betting as well. And we talked about being women in the sports betting space, what it's like, the difficulties we deal with, the pros, the cons, how we got into sports betting, how we got into the sports industry. It was awesome. And I was nervous about going up there too because I was like, oh gosh, our guy's going to be mean. But everybody was so nice and asked such insightful questions. So truly had a great time at BetBash. If you are into sports betting and you want to go, I recommend going. The networking is great. The people you meet are great. The stories you'll have. It was just such a fun time, and I will definitely be going back to BetBash from here on out. Absolutely loved it. So that was great. those have kind of been my travels. I've been home the last week. I've got some exciting stuff coming up. Before we get going, I'm going to give you guys one NFL's future play for right now, and that is going to be the Bears to go over their win total right now of 8.5 this season. The Bears have high expectations, and I'm not saying that the NFC North is going to be a cakewalk, because it's not. You've got the Packers and you've got the Lions, who are expected to be very good this season. But the weight that is sitting on Caleb Williams' shoulders right now in the rest of the Chicago Bears organization is huge. The fact we all know that Caleb Williams is already the favorite to win Rookie of the Year because of the receiving core that he has around him and the pieces that they've been able to supply for him. This might be the first time that it looks like Chicago is doing something right in a very long time. I've looked at their schedule, broke it down game by game. Off the bat, 5 wins on the schedule. I'm like, okay, I see that there's no problem for them. Then it gets a little hairy, and you see a couple of places where they could win, where they could lose. It could go either way. But I have some faith in Caleb Williams, and I think for this season to be a success, them improving and having 9 wins as opposed to 7 from last year would be a win for Chicago in my eyes. I think that they can do it based on looking on their schedule if everything goes according to plan with what we think is going to happen with this team and what we have seen thus far through preseason and through the offseason. So I am slightly high on the Bears. I'm not saying they're going to go to the playoffs and win the Super Bowl or anything like that. I think they're some time out still from that. But I do like them over their win total because I feel like Caleb Williams is going to improve, and the people of Chicago, be excited about that. If you start off the bat with a couple losses, because right out the gate, the schedule is kind of a little difficult, don't get discouraged. We have time. So a pick that I have in the 2024 NFL futures is the Bears to go over their win total, set at 8.5 this season. Now to close out the show, let's get to our Taylor's topics of the week, starting with Ilona Meyer. I don't know if I said her name correctly. I think I did. The women's rugby player that helped take USA women's rugby to get the bronze. I am obsessed with her. If you're not following Ilona Meyer, she's so funny too on social media. Like, she is just the full package. Beautiful, strong, athletic, funny. Like, she is an ultimate follow right now on social media, and I am so obsessed with her. So that has got to be one of my ins for the week because she is like my favorite social media follow right now. Taylor's topic number 2 for the week has got to be standing your ground. Now, let me explain this a little bit further. I'm not going to go fully into the story, but not too far long ago, I kind of started talking to this guy who was he was a little younger than me. He was 25. And I thought things were going really well. And I was really interested in him and stuff. And he totally was like lying to me. And long story short, I ended up figuring out that we said we weren't like gonna talk to other people and stuff. And then I found out that he was definitely talking to and seeing this girl that I knew. So he definitely really screwed me over. But the way I handled it, I must say, it was pretty great. I texted him just out of the blue. He didn't know that I found all of this out, saying like, you deserve an Academy Award for your performance of making me think that you cared. And then I said something like, how dare you treat me with disrespect, consider therapy. And then I straight up blocked him on everything. So maybe that was a little dramatic, but for me, I needed that moment to kind of be like, ooh, like I really thought he was being genuine, but I guess he wasn't. And I got tricked by the youth. I got tricked by the 25-year-old. Yeah, so standing your ground, that's really like always a hard thing for me to do, but I was really proud of myself that I was kind of able to do that and just like cut off the contact like that too, because I'm not very good with that. Taylor's topic number 3, Love Island. If you don't watch Love Island, you better get to it. And today is the reunion and you have no idea how jacked I am for it. Love Island, if you're a sports fan, like it could correlate in a weird way. I swear to God, like it's so entertaining that people that like sports, I feel like you would maybe find Love Island interesting. Like there's a competitive factor to it. It's like crazy relationship drama. The things that happen in this season of Love Island USA are nuts. I'm a reality TV girly. I do love my Bravo shows. I love me some reality TV shows. But if you are trying to get newly into something like that, or you've never watched anything like that and you're like, maybe I'll give this a try, Love Island USA, guys. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. You will enjoy it. The things I'm expecting for the reunion, Kayla and Aaron hopefully are not together. Nicole and Kendall are hopefully not together. Leah and Miguel still crushing it. Janae and Kenny are official. And then, of course, we've got Cordell and Serena, my fave couple out of all of them, still together as well. I can't wait to hear all the juice and the tea that's spilled since they filmed in Fiji. That'll wrap it up for today's episode of First Base with me, Taylor Mathis. Thank you guys for tuning in, whichever way you're listening to your podcast or watching as well on YouTube. Appreciate everything from you guys, and be sure to subscribe, give this a like, tell your friends about the First Base podcast. See you next time. We go all around the world. We go all around the world.